Today we'll discuss to students. Today we'll discuss the electric flux. Electric flux. Electric flux means flux. First you have to know what is flux. Flux means some kind of flow. Some kind of flow. Now, what kind of flow? This flow is related to some vector field. What is it? Vector field. Now, since electric field is a vector field, so electric field has also flux, and that is called electric flux. That is called electric flux. Now, when you going to define electric flux through a given surface in an electric field. Now, what are the requirements? You need an electric field and you need a surface. Now, through that surface, how many lines of force are passing through? Now, how many lines of force are passing through that surface, through that closed surface? Now, that is called your electric flux. Electric flux through any given surface in an electric field is measured by the total number of electric lines of force passing through the surface, and the condition is that where the surface is held perpendicular, to that lines of force. Why this condition is coming the perpendicular? Because in any electric field, when you place any surface, if that surface is held perpendicular, then you can assume that maximum number of lines of force will pass through that surface. So that's why it is told that the surface must be held perpendicular to the direction of lines of force. Clear? Okay. Now let us find out the electric flux through different type of surfaces, where according to the different orientation. For an example, suppose I will take an uniform electric field that is represented by the parallel set of electric lines of force. Suppose I will take a surface like this. Now, how the orientation it is? It is like this. Now, any area can be represented as a vector by the outward drawn normal. Clear? If this is your ds, then this is your ds vector, and this is your E vector. Clear? Now, this is your theta. Clear? This is your theta. What is theta? Theta is the angle between E vector and ds vector. So, now according to this definition of electric flux through this ds in an electric field, now this electric flux through this ds is equal to d phi is equal to area into component of electric field along ds vector. See here, if this is your theta, let us resolve this E vector into two components, E theta. Along this ds vector we have E cos theta, and perpendicular to it perpendicular to it. Now this is your E vector, this is your theta, this is your E cos theta, and this is your E sin theta. Now component of E vector along ds vector. Which component is along ds vector? Now that is your E cos theta. So that's why d phi is equal to ds into E cos theta, that is equal to E ds cos theta. E ds cos theta. E ds cos theta. So d phi is equal to E ds cos theta. According to the dot product, it is your E vector dot ds vector. As you know that A dot B is equal to AB cos theta. Now this is the flux through this ds. Suppose when you will go for the total flux, then it will be integration of d phi, that is your integration of E vector dot ds vector. So as I said earlier, electric flux has two definitions. One is qualitative, another is your quantitative. Qualitative is that electric flux through a given surface in an electric field is measured by the total number of electric lines of force passing through that surface, where the surface is held perpendicular to the direction of lines of force. Clear? And quantitatively electric flux is defined as the dot product of E vector and ds vector. So as the electric flux is the dot product of electric field vector and area vector, and you know that dot product of two vector is a scalar. So this is a scalar quantity. And now here the surface is not perpendicular. Now I'll check it out. If surface is perpendicular to electric field, then what would happen? If the surface, suppose this is your electric field vector represented by the parallel set of electric lines of force, and if this is your surface where you will orient this surface perpendicular. Clear? Now this is your E vector. When you draw a normal, then also this is your ds vector here. Now E vector is parallel to ds vector. E vector is parallel to ds vector. You see, surface is held. Here you see, surface is held perpendicular to electric field, but E vector is parallel to ds vector. Don't confuse that, because whenever the surface is held perpendicular to this electric field, you can say that ds vector is perpendicular to this ds. Okay, now ds vector is parallel to E vector. Clear? Because ds vector is perpendicular to ds. Clear? And ds vector is parallel to E vector. So where the surface is perpendicular to E vector, there you can say ds vector is parallel to E vector, and theta is equal to 0 degree, because theta is the angle between E vector and ds vector. Now if theta is 0, cos theta is equal to 1, and d phi is equal to E ds cos 0 degree, or E ds, or you can say d phi is equal to E ds, which is your flux is maximum. Now what I mean to say, flux is maximum if surface is held perpendicular to electric field. Okay, so that's why it is in the qualitative definition of electric flux, it is told that it is told that if the surface is held perpendicular to this electric field, then maximum electric flux will eliminate will be maximum flux will be originate. Clear? Now according to this unit, what I meant to say, this d phi is equal to EDS cos theta. So EDS cos theta is no unit. E has Newton per coulomb and ds means meter square. Okay. Now it is your Newton by coulomb meter square or volt into meter. Okay. Now let us check it out. Under what condition positive, negative and zero flux? Under what condition the flux will be positive, negative and zero? Now here you see, suppose you have a uniform electric field. Clear? Now here is the suppose surface. Okay. Now here we have taken three elemental surface. Suppose this is your ds1, suppose this is your ds2 and suppose this is your ds3. Now whole surface is supposed to be consisting of such large number of ds's, and here why I have taken three at different positions. Here you see, here we'll check it out. Through some surfaces the flux is positive, through some surface the flux is negative, and through some surfaces the flux will be zero. So under what condition this flux will be positive, negative and zero? Let us start by for ds1. Here you see ds1 plane is like this and the ds1 vector will be like this, because area can be represented as a vector by the outward drawn normal. So here you see electric field direction is like this. Okay, and this is the ds1 vector. So this will be your theta is equal to 90 degree. Theta is equal to 90 degree. Okay, here you see how the surface is here. ds1 surface is parallel to electric field like this. This is a plane is also like this, but ds1 vector is perpendicular to electric field. So here theta is equal to 90 degree. So cos theta is equal to 0, and sorry, if flux will be 0. Now coming to ds2, coming to ds2, here you see electric field it appears to be entering into the surface. If you draw the normal here, then this would be the normal, and this theta is equal to greater than 90 degree, and cos theta is negative. I can highlight this also. This is the plane, and suppose this is the plane, then this is the normal, and this is the electric field. So this is what ds2 vector, this is your E vector, and what is this angle? This theta greater than 90 degree. So flux is negative. How the electric field appears to be here? Electric field appears to be entering. Electric field enters the surface. enters the surface. Okay, now let us go for the number 3. The surface is like this and the electric field is like this. Now when you consider the DS3, you can draw the normal. And this theta is less than 90 degree. How the electric field is here? Electric field appears to leave the surface, and electric field is parallel to surface. This is parallel, this is entering, and this is your leaving. This is 0, this is a negative, and this is your positive. Okay, basic upon this positive, negative and zero flux or the electric flux, we have a law called Gauss law. And Gauss law states that the electric flux through any closed surface in an electric field is the measure of the electric lines of force, or in general you can say the measure of the your electric charge enclosed by that surface. So the net outward electric flux through any closed surface in an electric field is equal to the electric flux means E vector dot ds vector. Net means total electric flux, means you have to integrate here. Okay, then it will be 1 by epsilon naught times of the charge q, means net charge. Q is called net charge enclosed by that surface. Whatever may be the shape of the closed surface, always the total electric flux measured out of that closed surface in that electric field is the 1 by epsilon times of the net charge enclosed by that surface. Suppose you can ask, sir, if there is electric field and the surface is also there, but yes, if the charge does not enclosed within that surface, then flux is also 0. Okay, so this is about what you call the Gauss law, that the net outward electric flux is equal to the 1 by epsilon naught times of the net charge enclosed by that surface. And to prove Gauss law from any, and Gauss law here is to determine the electric flux through a closed surface in an electric field. By applying Gauss law, one can determine the electric field due to a particular charge distribution or group of charges. So that we will study in the applications of your Gauss law. Again I repeat this Gauss law statement, that the net outward electric flux through any closed surface is an integral is in an electric field is equal to the 1 by epsilon times of the net charge enclosed by that surface. And when you apply this Gauss law to determine the electric field due to a particular charge distribution, then you have to assume a Gaussian surface, means imaginary surface. What is that imaginary surface? Imaginary surface you have to choose for that particular charge distribution through which electric flux is to be calculated. Suppose you are finding the electric field due to a point charge, means you have to take a charge here, then that charge must be enclosed within a surface, and through this you can find out the electric flux. Then you have to equate to this q by epsilon naught, then only you will get the electric field due to the particular charge distribution. So in the next class we will see the applications of Gauss law.